Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach, 𝐵𝐔𝐘𝐒. Today we're here to talk about ADHD and working in groups or independently. Before we get to the content of our show, I want to make everybody aware that children and adults with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, better known as CHAD, provides evidence-based and evidence-informed information. To go participate or get to that information, go to 𝐇𝐎𝐏𝐄.org. Also want to make you aware of our sister station, Attention Talk Radio, and you can find that at attentiontalkradio.com. Okay, Dr. Thomas Brown had a quote one time that I really kind of sums things up. As the need for independent work increases, ADHD productivity decreases. Now, that's a general statement, and I'm not a big fan of general statements. However, it is very helpful to understand that statement in the context of ADHD, and let's talk about why that might be. I've done a lot of videos on working memory, and this video, I'm not going to cover it in detail, but in simple terms, people that are neurotypical can often sit and just think inside of their head. They can create pictures and imagery, and they talk to themselves and they guide themselves towards a goal. Because working memory is more limited in people with ADHD, they struggle with that. They get lost in their thoughts because they can't hold it all. They have a hard time putting images together. When they're talking to themselves, it's fragmented. In other words, it's just a lot of confusion. There's a lot of people with ADHD that are high functioning because they have a tendency to think outside of their head. They draw pictures, they have visual reminders, and some actually talk a lot. It looks like they're talking to you and I, they're not. They're actually thinking out loud. I won't go into a lot of details on that. I've done a lot of interviews with Dr. Russell Barkley and some thinking, particularly on Attention Talk Radio, if you're interested. But needless to say, if we begin to say there's this demarcation between thinking inside of your head and thinking outside of your head, and when you think outside of your head, you're often collaborating with people. You're talking with them, they'll say something, it sparks an idea, or you're just processing. Again, people with ADHD sometimes, they'll just go up and start talking for 10 minutes and solve their own problem out loud. So, and having people around too is like, if you can't recall something in a procedure, rather than go spend an hour looking for those steps, you can lean over and ask somebody and they'll give you that answer and you'll be right on track, as opposed to getting sidetracked on your way somewhere else. So we bring that back to Dr. Brown's quote: as the need for independent work increases, ADHD productivity decreases. And as I reflect back on the pandemic, people with ADHD were sent to work by themselves and study by themselves, and it unmasks an enormous amount of ADHD challenges. My practice got flooded by people wanting some help. And at the end of the day, I can't really give you a tip, a trick, or strategy because nothing replaces human interaction. And I will tell you this, more and more people are becoming more digital out of convenience. And that's a whole nother conversation, because having conversations with emails actually it's less productive for working memory problems. But needless to say, if you have ADHD, you might like to work independently by yourself at times, but if there's an area of ambiguity or you need somebody to show you a procedure, help you recall, those are times that are really helpful. And you can actually be in a room with people and it's just maybe somebody answers two questions at different times of the day within 2 seconds to keep you on track, as opposed to hitting a wall of ambiguity, not knowing where to find the answer, getting up to go do something and never making it back to your desk. So what's the point of all this? The point of all this, it's real. I coach a lot of people with ADHD, and this is one of the most common things, is when they're having to produce stuff on their own, their productivity decreases. So what do? You've got to advocate for yourself. You've got to get back in some type of interactive environment or have access to people that are there. It might sound daunting to you or difficult, but I can tell you it works. It works a lot. It works a lot, like a lot. I'm me. I have a secretary. I call her up. I just yabber into the phone sometimes for like 15 minutes, and she's like, "What?" And I solve my own problem. She's there. It sounds simple, but I just pick up the phone and call her. Anyway, the point of all this stuff is I hope this gives you a little bit of insight onto yourself and realize thinking inside your head is difficult. It's easier to think outside your head when you're collaborating with people, and often you'll struggle when you're working independently because you don't have that around. I hope this gives you pause to ponder. Comments, thoughts, what do you think? Can you identify with this? For those that are new to our channel, please subscribe. We release a tip like this each week. With that, I hope you've gained some insight. Catch us next week for another great edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.